Team Fortress 2 was released in 2007 and was a massive success. Expanding on the original mod, this game was monetarily and critically a cultural moment. The hype that surrounded this game was surreal, and you couldn't go a single foot or inch of the internet without seeing it. Look, do I even have to say the rest? I mean, we all know how the story goes. Updates to generally good approval, new items continuously added, and the game cements itself in history as one of the greatest multiplayer shooters of all time. With all of that, it takes us to today. 2025, what does TF2 look like? Nothing. It's a ghost town. That's the quote-unquote problem. With no major updates since Jungle Inferno in 2017, we've been trying to reinvent the wheel metaphorically to keep ourselves entertained. Not to even mention bots starting to plague this game from 2020 to 2024, with it finally ending after they managed to get some poor employee to fix it with a wave of bans. It almost seemed like a new dawn for Team Fortress 2. But that was 4 whole years without interference, with a continuous stream of community cosmetics and maps still being added. I'll admit, it's easy for me and other content creators to get clicks by saying TF2 is over forever, because they know a lot of people in the community feel that way, and they are looking for something concrete to point to. Fear-mongering and controversy will always catch attention, no matter the subject. Now, luckily, I have been blessed with a comprehension level above a 6th grader, and I understand that the revenue from these updates likely keeps the servers up, so I'm fine with them being added. That's not my main complaint. I do love this game, and I want it to live forever, and a new generation of players to fall in love with it just like I did. But, again, we're only looking at the surface here. There are bigger issues, even going down to how the game is balanced. I think, if we want to get to the problems that are plaguing Team Fortress 2 today, I need to get to the roots of this game, and why so many can't even get their foot in the door to start. It's time to open the biggest Pandora's box of my entire career, and learn what is wrong with TF2. The first issue for modern TF2 that is 100% brought up is none other than casual mode. It seems no matter what circle of thought surrounding this game you go into, some will be accepting the status quo that is casual, or others begging to bring back quick play. To give you more insight into what each matchmaking system was like, I'll explain them briefly. Quick play was the OG matchmaking system that allowed players to join in-progress casual matches with a simple server browser. You'd basically click play and drop into an active server. Quick play even allowed team switching, letting players switch sides if they wanted to play on attack that day or go against their friends. This exact system allowed iconic moments in videos like Germa is Mad Part 2 to be made.
I'm seriously gonna go sit down on the toilet and piss up into my face.
Another feature that was crucial was team scrambling. At the end of the round or a vote mid-game, players could automatically be redistributed between red and blue to create more balanced matches based on nothing but performance. This was incredible at doing so because it gave players more control on how they wanted to play TF2, and matches could self-correct when it was just a continuous roll. People liked it and, more importantly, understood it. Then in 2016, Valve replaced quick play with casual mode as a part of the Meet Your Match update, and it's been downhill ever since. To be completely fair, here's what casual does better. It's more beginner friendly with a modern UI, and you can queue for multiple maps at once instead of just picking one server. Now, what does it do wrong? Casual has longer queue times, sometimes for minutes instead of quick play's instant join. You are forced to wait in lobbies, in some cases for up to 2 minutes, instead of jumping into an active game with people already playing. Joining friends mid-match easily is non-existent and oftentimes requires queuing again together, wasting more time and emptying more lobbies. 12v12 lobbies rarely fill completely, leading to unbalanced player counts more often than you'd think. No team switching means you're either locked to one side the entire match, no matter if you hate the guts of everyone on your team,
or you just really want to play defense. No team scrambling and stops continuing with nowhere to self-point, which isn't fun for either side.
Now, to be completely honest with you, I think some aspects of casual should stay. Picking certain maps and queuing only those maps is a feature I really like. However, I do wish that you can switch teams and you don't gotta wait for 2 goddamn minutes while everyone just connects to the game! It's been almost a decade since Meet Your Match, the update that implemented all of this, and Valve still hasn't addressed any of it. And this wasn't the only thing this update brought for us. It brought competitive mode. This was supposed to be TF2's answer to Counter-Strike's rank system. It wasn't close. Comp mode is a ghost town. To put it bluntly, Valve tried to make TF2 into something it wasn't, and ignored the already existing competitive TF2 leagues and abandoned it entirely when it didn't take off. Valve didn't know what their own community wanted. They saw the success of their other titles and thought, we can do that with TF2. But TF2's competitive scene already existed. It just needed support. Instead, we got a half-baked system that satisfied nobody and still sits in the game, and like many players such as me, I still sit at 1 match played. This update alone should tell you everything you need to know about what they think of the greatest game they've ever made. I mentioned bots in the intro, but I glossed over it because honestly, I didn't want to relive that pain. But we have to talk about this, because for 4 years, TF2 was unplayable. It's the worst event in the game's history, bar none.
It's incredible to me that a game this popular is subjected to a situation like this. There is not a video game fan alive who does not at least know what Team Fortress 2 is and what its impact on worldwide culture has been since its release. And yet, this is the state of your game? This is how the game has been for more than 30% of its lifespan? It's honestly just downright disrespectful. Like, do you guys just not care at all about your legacy as developers? Like, Robin Walker, I know you must care at least a little bit about what has happened to your baby, right?
You can see why this would be game ruining when there's entire lobbies of bots just like this. It's basically just bots fighting each other in this unholy war, and occasionally a human being accidentally cues into it, and it's awful.
Starting in 2020, bot accounts flooded casual servers. They were aimbotting snipers that would instantly headshot you the moment you left spawn, bots that spammed slurs and screamed in the voice chat, bots that would crash servers, and bots that kicked the real players through votes. You couldn't play the game. This happened for 4 years. Valve even put a tweet out on the official account in 2022, and it still happened for another 2. I mean, the community organized, made hashtags, news outlets even talked about it. Every YouTuber, including me, made some kind of video, and still nothing happened. Until randomly in 2024, someone at Valve finally implemented a ban wave and some basic detection. Just like that, the bots were mostly gone. But for 4 whole years, new players booted up this supposed free-to-play game, joined a casual match, got aimbotted by 6 spin-botting snipers all stacked up. Do you think they gave TF2 a second chance? An entire generation of potential players wrote the game off as dead and never tried again. And to be fair to them, why would they? The game was already confusing to start with. Now it's plagued by hackers. Nobody could enjoy the greatest multiplayer shooter of all time. But hey, let's push through casual mode's problems and the bots that are supposedly gone and enjoy TF2 as is as a new player. There's another massive barrier: actually learning how to play the game in the first place. This is probably the least beginner-friendly shooter on the market, despite being free to play. The first thing a new player would do as they boot up the game is look for any kind of tutorial, anything that can tell them how to play the game. Well, the tutorial is insanely half-baked, and that's undercutting it. The 4 classes they choose, I will admit, do make sense in some regard. These 2 will teach you about offense, while these 2 will tell you about the most intricate classes. But that's where my praise ends. The information given here is so basic that messing around in game would probably yield similar results. Also, why are we not teaching people how to play Medic, the most influential class? Or Scout, the class that would teach the best movement and aim to beginners, as TF2 is kind of a movement-based shooter. A fleshed out tutorial with all 9 classes seems like a no-brainer, but even after 18 years, it's up to the community to tell you how to play the class you are interested in. And playing the game at first is a nightmare as well. The default settings are so terrible that seeking out better ones becomes a challenge of its own. Fast weapon switch is not on by default, so you will have to cycle through the shitty menu. The FOV starting at 75 will genuinely screw you over in games, and 90 will make sure you can actually see anything, as well as the weapon models being massive, so thank God you can make them smaller, transparent, or off entirely. And the stock HUD having you look at the bottom left of your monitor to see your health, and all the way across to the right to look at your ammo. Not to even mention the outdated weapon collection process. Randomly dropping you one every 30 to 70 minutes, and Valve's official solution being to upcharge the shit out of you through their in-game storefront. Imagine being new at TF2 and someone starts dominating you with, let's say, the direct hit. Well, Valve pats you on the back and says, "Don't worry, buddy, you can either wait for this for random chance or buy it for $1.99. Not bad, right?" When in reality, it's worth 1/3 of a penny. I mean, a new player probably doesn't even know what a trade offer is. Also, there are some terrible maps for teaching new players the ropes. Bad chokes, confusing layouts, and the tutorial only teaches you attack defense. There are all 4 other game modes, not even counting the alternate ones, that the game just straight up doesn't tell you anything about. And I mean, to be fair, these are all game modes that are definitely familiar to you if you played other online multiplayer shooters. But what if you haven't? Because the most common sentence I hear from my friends trying the game for the first time is, "What is going on?" And TF2 definitely has some interesting balancing decisions. And I mean, I say interesting because some of them are genuinely brilliant. The concept of side grades instead of straight upgrades, where every weapon has some kind of trade-off or different playstyle, I love it. Some don't live up to that. Let me give you an example, okay? The flawed. It rewards you for doing damage and guarantees crits. The downside, no air blast, which sounds fair, until you realize that air blast is a skill-based mechanic that new players don't use anyway. So the flawed is just a hold W and left-click weapon that dominates casual servers. New players aren't learning a crucial mechanic and lose Pyro's most important utility. This hurts new players the most, because when you're learning the game and you keep getting killed by the same quote-unquote cheap weapons, you don't know if you're bad or if the weapon is broken. And I can't talk about TF2's weapon balancing without mentioning... Oh!
Oh!
What just happened? I'll be the first to admit that random crits are extremely funny and a great example of TF2's inherently casual nature. But that's where my praise ends. When we are talking from a game balance standpoint, this is one of the dumbest decisions by Valve. For those that don't know what a random crit is, it's a system that randomly decides when your weapon is going to deal triple damage. This was a mechanic described by Valve to quote-unquote break stalemates. Wait, why is there an asterisk? Wait, don't tell them! Random crits are random in the sense that there is a chance that they can happen, don't get me wrong. But they have a higher chance of happening if you've dealt more damage. To quote directly from the wiki,
"The base critical hit chance for standard weapons is 2%. This is multiplied based on how much damage the player has done in the last 20 seconds, which scales from a 1-time multiplier at 0 damage to 4 times multiplier at 800 damage. For example, if the player has dealt 200 damage in the past 20 seconds, the multiplier is 1.75, and so the overall critical hit chance is 3.5. As a result, the highest natural crit chance attainable is 8%.
So, let's say some veteran with a pocket medic is rolling with a godlike kill streak and doesn't intend on stopping you anytime soon. Well, now he has a higher chance of killing you instantly. For a system that was intended to break stalemates, it almost seems like this modifier makes it the opposite, giving better players a better chance to just keep rolling the lobby, which isn't fun for either side. And on the flip side, if a new player puts themselves in a bad position, then gets random crit, instantly killing their opponent, they didn't learn anything. It's negative reinforcement if a player continues to make a series of mistakes and gets rewarded for it. To put it bluntly, random crits harm the new players, casual players, and veteran players in more ways than they help. And that's the state that Team Fortress 2 is in, and the one that'll likely stay. It'll keep getting bots, new players will keep leaving because it's too difficult, and TF2 will die. But what if I'm lying to myself? I didn't make this for no reason. I didn't make this to clickbait. There's one interaction I had with somebody that influenced this entire video. I went to a convention at the start of this year. I went as engineer from TF2, my favorite class, in case you couldn't tell. I got a lot of compliments. People took photos with me, and I had a great time. I appreciate everyone that complimented me, especially because I hadn't even hit 1,000 subscribers yet. I even told people the photo was an investment. Very egotistical, I know. That one interaction I had that stuck out to me though, was I was simply just buying a drink for myself, when someone came up to me and asked me if I was engineer from TF2. I said I was, and I appreciated him liking the costume. But I processed who I was talking to, and it was a kid. Asked him how he knew TF2, and his mom came over and said he watched YouTube videos. I promise you I'm not lying. Once I got back to my friends, I told them about it, and I thought about it even more. I grew up watching the Meet the Team videos, seeing all kinds of YouTubers play the game, and even making skits with my brothers that I will never show ever. They inspired me to get into TF2 and eventually make videos on it. Then it hit me. I have an amazing opportunity to inspire a new generation of TF2 players. That's why I made this video, and all of my other videos. It's not to unnecessarily rag on the game and make some kind of controversy. I want things to change, and I might as well do what I can with the platform I've been given. So, I'll end on this. TF2 is the greatest multiplayer shooter ever made, and you should play it. Download it, it's free. Play in community servers, help new players in any way you can, watch and support your favorite TF2 content creators, like me. Just one view can go so far. And hell, we have an MVM update coming out soon, which Valve is communicating on and could potentially be massive. So anticipate that coming sooner than you could think. Team Fortress 2 is the most fun you could have online, and I suggest you live a little.